Scroll the macabre mystery of the twins that defied science. Alabama, 1842. Fleur-de-lis prologue. It began with a birth that should never have happened. In the heart of Clark County, Alabama, where red clay roads twist through dense pines and Spanish moss hangs like funeral shrouds, a plantation called Black Hollow stood apart. Its master, Ezekiel Wilkes, had known tragedy, 3 wives buried before they reached 30, each lost to childbirth. By the spring of 1842, when his 4th wife, the frail and devout Lydia, went into labor, local folk whispered that misfortune stalked the Wilkes bloodline like a hungry wolf. At dawn, Lydia gave her final scream, and silence fell. 2 cries broke the quiet, thin, uncertain, but alive. The midwife staggered back, her lantern flickering across the impossible. Twin boys, joined at the chest by a thick, pulsing band of flesh. Their tiny hearts beat out of rhythm, yet they lived. Ezekiel, staring pale as marble, whispered, "Greater than, may God forgive us. They shouldn't be." He named them Samuel and Silas. And so began a mystery that science could not explain, and faith dared not face. Chapter 1. Black Hollow. Black Hollow sat miles from the nearest town, its fields ringed by swamp and dark forest. The house itself was a 2-story structure of weathered clapboard, with columns cracked by humidity and age. In town, some called it cursed ground. "Greater than, the earth ain't right there," muttered old Ned Carter at the general store. "Something buried deeper than roots." Ezekiel raised his sons hidden from prying eyes. Lydia, buried behind the house beneath a crumbling angel statue, had asked only that they be spared cruelty. The boys grew strangely. Samuel, the elder by minutes, was solemn, bookish. Silas, quick to laugh and quick to anger. Despite sharing a chest, each spoke with his own voice, had his own thoughts, yet sometimes, they finished each other's sentences in a way that set servants' teeth on edge. The bond was more than physical. Chapter 2. The Doctor. By 1845, the boys were 3 years old when Dr. Phineas Corbin, a surgeon from Mobile, heard of them. He arrived in a creaking carriage, bringing polished instruments and a curiosity sharp as any scalpel. Dr. Corbin had traveled as far as Vienna, and believed nothing beyond understanding. By candlelight in the boys' nursery, Corbin probed the flesh that bound them. "Greater than, extraordinary," he murmured, feeling the beat of 2 hearts. "They share blood, but not mind, or do they?" Samuel stared at the doctor's gold-rimmed spectacles. Silas squirmed. Corbin approached Ezekiel in private. "Greater than, with your permission, I could attempt separation. A grand advance for medicine." Ezekiel's face turned to stone. "Greater than, they're my blood, doctor. Not an experiment. Greater than, then they will not see manhood," Corbin warned. "This bond will kill them." But Ezekiel would hear no more. The doctor departed, muttering about the savage refusal of progress. Chapter 3. The Preacher. When medicine failed, faith stepped in. Reverend Amos Grady, black-clad and rail-thin, arrived in midsummer heat. He believed the twins were born of sin. At Sunday service in the parlor, he preached hellfire, sweat shining on his brow. "Greater than, brothers and sisters, when the Lord forges what should not be, it is a sign of his wrath. The Wilkes house must repent." Samuel bowed his head. Silas clenched his tiny fists. "Greater than, do you think we're monsters?" Samuel asked later. "Greater than, if we are," Silas whispered, "then let them be afraid." From that day, the boys no longer came to church. Chapter 4. The Whispers. As the twins grew, strange stories followed. Servants swore they saw Samuel reading in the library while Silas slept upstairs, impossible, but insisted upon. When one child bled, so did the other. And late at night, voices echoed in the halls, though none could say whose. In town, mothers pulled children from the road when the Wilkes carriage passed. "Greater than, they're touched," people said. Or worse. Chapter 5. A Secret Discovered. One stormy night in 1852, a housemaid named Cora, barely 16, found Samuel alone in the garden, or so she thought. He turned, and Silas was there, half hidden by the dark. "Greater than, don't tell father," Samuel pleaded. "Sometimes, we can move apart. Just a little." She ran, breathless with terror. By dawn, the story had spread. The Wilkes twins could separate themselves. Science would not believe it. Faith called it witchcraft. Ezekiel confronted his sons. Samuel wept. Silas shouted, defiant. "Greater than, we were born this way." Silas screamed, "It isn't sin, it's us." Chapter 6. The Fire. That winter, tragedy struck. A lamp overturned in the nursery, flames licking up the walls. Ezekiel rushed in to save his sons. He found them in the hall, strangely apart, yet the bond still faintly glimmering like a red serpent of flesh. As he reached them, the ceiling crashed down. Servants dragged the family out into the cold night. The house burned, timbers roaring like a funeral pyre. By morning, Black Hollow was blackened ruin. Chapter 7. The Scientists Return. News of the fire reached Mobile, then New Orleans. Dr. Corbin returned, now with colleagues from Europe. Among them was Professor Émile Deschamps, a French physiologist obsessed with living curiosities. Ezekiel, older and weakened by smoke, allowed them to examine the twins again. They saw what seemed impossible. At moments, Samuel and Silas could stretch their shared flesh like taffy, even step inches apart, yet they were drawn back together as if by invisible chains. Greater than, this defies all anatomy, Deschamps whispered. It is as if will alone binds them. They begged Ezekiel to send the boys to Paris for study. He refused. Greater than, they are my sons, not beasts for your cabinets. Chapter 8. The Last Summer. By 1856, the twins turned 14. Samuel grew sickly. Silas, ever strong, tried to carry them both with sheer force of will. At night, Samuel coughed blood. Silas cursed heaven itself. Greater than, take me, not him. They no longer tried to hide their gift, the power to pull apart, briefly. But each time they did, Samuel grew weaker. Greater than, it's killing you, Silas whispered. If we were truly separate, maybe you'd live. Greater than, no, Samuel said. Better we go together. Chapter 9. Death and Legend. Autumn came. Samuel's fever worsened. On October 13, 1856, at dawn, Samuel died. Silas felt the life fade, yet remained alive, weeping over his brother's slack face. And then, in a horror no doctor could explain, Silas's heart kept beating, for days. The flesh binding them blackened, shriveled. Some claimed Silas tried to stand alone, dragging Samuel's corpse. On the third night, Silas died, not from illness, but from grief. Chapter 10. The Body. Doctors fought to keep the body. Ezekiel refused. Greater than, bury them as they lived, he commanded. In a single coffin, the twins were laid under the ruined walls of Black Hollow, beside the mother they never knew. Fleur-de-lis epilogue. The mystery remains. Today, only moss and broken stones mark the spot. But old folks say, if you walk by the ruins on a summer night, you might hear two voices whispering in the dark. One soft, gentle, one sharp, angry, bound forever by love, or by something darker. A mystery that neither science nor faith ever solved. The end. Mantelpiece clock total length. This is around 3,000 plus words in summary plus prose. To make it a true 1+ hour read, approximately 8 to 12K words. Check